Welcome back to MMO Noobs. I'm Chris.
I'm Rick.
Hey guys, I'm Keith.
And we're coming back at you with the last episode for New World. We're going to talk about what we thought about the game, tell you if we would actually play it again, come back, stop for a while, just all of our ideas about the game. We played a little bit more, and I'm an idiot because I kept passing up quests. I don't know what happened. I would turn in quests and not pick up the next one, and it's pretty easy how you just turn it in and you're still talking to them, you pick up the next one. I don't know what happened. And then there was a spot where I was supposed to go to this area and talk to this lady. I did. And it didn't take me to the next part. And then I walked back by her later, and then all of a sudden, boom, it put me on to the next part. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if it's one of the bugs. No clue. Or if it's just me bugging. Probably me bugging.
It's just you.
Yeah. So, I got on and did some farming. Finally got my mining past 50. Finally. And so I can mine more stuff. And yeah, that's about all I've really done. What about you, Keith? I'll let you go next. What you've been doing in the game?
Less than I had been, I think. I was pretty consistently playing New World, and that lasted for a solid 2 weeks, buddy. So I got on my character that I play when I'm by myself, I think once this week, and just did some questing and gathering and working on professions and stuff, and ran into another quest bug where I wasn't able to do something and got frustrated and got off the game. So a lot less than I had been doing.
Yeah, I understand the bugs, because I think that was what my problem was, but I was still able to do the quest, but yeah. Alright, Rick?
Basically same as Keith. I haven't done a whole lot recently. I just fired up my stream again last week, so I was doing my own thing, and then after I was streaming, it was World of Warcraft. So,
Yeah.
But I mean, on the tunes that Keith and I play together, we got high leveled. We're 40 something, 43, I think, and I think that's pretty good. We made decent progress in the time that we played, bouncing back and forth between that tune and World of Warcraft and the tunes that me, you, and Keith all play together. So
Yeah.
we have some stuff to talk about for later game, but we don't quite have end game stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah. So,
Which, that's good and bad, right?
yeah.
We don't have a lot to talk about with the end game, but it's partially because the game is difficult and it takes a while to get there. It's not something that it's not like retail World of Warcraft where you create a character and 2 days later you're max level. It takes a while. It takes it takes work and it takes dedication to get your characters leveled up. So I think that's a good thing,
Yeah, and this podcast really isn't about in-game stuff. It's about starting a new podcast. It's about starting a new MMO and being a noob at it. In-game,
Right, yeah.
you're not a noob no more, or you shouldn't be. So, unless you bought an account that already had a high-level tune, then you still are a noob, and you need to start a new tune. So, anyways.
On one hand, that's right. On another, it's not, because there's a lot to do in between starting your character and hitting endgame, right? So once you get to endgame, like if you just leveled, you still have all this crafting stuff you need to learn.
Oh yeah.
All that stuff.
If you just rush through it, which probably some people do, they just rush through it, but then they got to spend hours and hours and hours just farming instead of farming while you're leveling. So it's better to do all that while you're leveling instead of going back and doing just that.
Yeah, but not everybody has that mentality, so
Yeah.
They rush to the end with their buddies or whatever, and then
Hey,
they go
yeah,
back.
I can understand. There's certain circumstances where you want to skip everything and rush, and that way you can play with your friends and stuff like that. There's certain circumstances like that. I understand that.
Like in World of Warcraft, you can relatively easily level up your professions while you're questing and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But with New World, it's different. You have to do a lot more of the professions to level them up. So I think it's a lot easier to, if you wait until the end game, and that was one of the tips I gave a while back, was to wait until the end game to do your professions, because in this game at the end you can get all the max level tools, and it makes all that profession grinding go by a lot faster. So it just depends on your playstyle and your preference.
Yeah. So, all right. Now, I was hoping we could all talk about doing dungeons today, but I didn't get that far. And we were going to play some more tonight, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just get it done. Y'all have done the dungeons, so I'll just pretend like y'all are talking to me, the noob, about your experience in the dungeon, how you did it, what level you got to be, what kind of experience y'all had doing the dungeons, and good, bad, good gameplay, graphic wise, and everything else. So y'all tell me what the dungeon experience was like for y'all.
Well, for me, because we've done Amrine Excavation as well as
Starstone.
thank you, Starstone. So with Amrine Excavation, it's the first dungeon you get to go into. You need the Azoth staff to get into it. So we were actually really close on the characters that we have together to getting into it. But for each dungeon that you go into, you have to have a tuning orb. I'm sure we've mentioned this all before. That you have to have a tuning orb. You can craft it. Occasionally you get a quest that sends you into the dungeon and they'll give you an orb to go in. But you only need one orb for your full party. And everybody goes in. You got your standard DPS, tank, healer. And they're actually not too bad. They might seem a little confusing at first, but they're really straightforward. It's just how fast can you do it, basically. They're a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. You get lots of XP from them. And you build kind of a decent camaraderie with these random people that you're playing with, unless you're playing with your buddies, obviously, because you already got those beers under your belt. But so of the two that we've done, I would say that my favorite was probably the Starstone one, just because of the fact that it made you use all the different mechanics that you have available to you in the game, like your crawling and your crouching, using the Azoth staff to create a barrier to go through these laser beams. And it was a lot of fun in general for me. How about you, Keith?
Well, I'm going to preface my comments with saying that I left my desk while you were talking, so if I repeat anything you said, that's why. So the first thing I noticed when we went into our first dungeon was the pace is extremely fast. The people that we were with, and even like the music, everything about it makes you feel like you have to go really fast. So there was no like learning mechanics or anything like that. It was get your group, get in the dungeon, bash everything to death, and then get out as quickly as you can is how it felt.
To be fair, though, when we did it the first time, we went in with 60, with a level 60.
Yeah, and you do a lot, and that's one thing that I never really was able to figure out is why the level 60s go back into those dungeons. But I know there has to be, right, something that they're going back in there for. So even the very first dungeon that you do, you'll find 60, max level characters that want to go back in there for whatever reason. So it's easy to find a group, and it's easy to find a group of high level players that make the dungeon super easy to get through.
Huh. I wonder why they went back. Do they scale up or anything like that, or?
Not that I know of. The drops in there may. I'm not sure. But there is definitely, and even in Starstone, we had that in the couple dungeon runs that we did. There were max level players that wanted to go. So, and they were talking about how they were picking things up that they were needing in those lower level dungeons. So,
I guess that's good.
Yeah, it's easy to find a group typically. The next thing is I'm used to World of Warcraft. That's the MMORPG that I play and have played. So in World of Warcraft, if you want to go for an upgrade to your gloves, you look at a list that shows what items drop in each dungeon. You find the boss that drops what you want, and you go kill him to try and get that drop. It's not like this in this game. It's, you get a list of potential items that could drop at any point in the dungeon. That doesn't even have to be off of a certain boss or anything. And everything else that drops in there is just randomized based on your high water mark. So you get upgrades based on what items you've picked up in the past, but it may not be anything that you need. So it's, I don't know, I have mixed opinions on that high watermark system as far as loot's concerned, because it does make it very random, and it's hard to pinpoint pieces of gear that you want to go get.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, the visuals in the dungeons, the mechanics and things, they are very cool. It's not like I don't like the dungeons. Those are just a few of the things I noticed. You're not in there very long because the groups form quickly and they move very quickly through the dungeons. They're not extremely difficult to do. I say that having not done one with a full group of players that are appropriate level for those dungeons. But the dungeons don't seem difficult. It's never hard to find a group.
How do you find a group?
You just put in global chat that you've got the tuning orb for whatever dungeon you want to go into, and people will send you a message. Okay.
I don't know if there's like a looking for group thing or what. So.
No, not really. There's different chat channels. Like there's a recruiting channel they sometimes use for recruiting people to go to dungeons and stuff like that, but not a special tool like they have in retail or anything.
Okay.
So yeah, they're very visually appealing. The mechanics in them are neat, and I thought they were fun.
Okay. So, anything else about that? Either one of you? Just about the dungeons.
No, not really in regards to the
Was the loot good in there? Did you get a lot of loot? Did you get a lot of money?
You do get loot that is like max gear score for your level, or for the level that they're available. So if they're like a level 30 item, they'll be at the top end of the scale of gear score for them.
Okay, gotcha.
Did we talk about how you get the tuning orbs to get into the dungeons?
No.
Yeah, I mentioned that you could craft them, or
okay.
if you get a quest, you can they'll sometimes give you the orb,
Okay. Yeah, I won't go over that again.
and that you only need one to get into the dungeon.
Cool. Yeah, I'm done then.
It's good to touch back over that just to make sure, but yeah. All right, then I want to talk about the news from the game. Then we'll give our thoughts about the game as the whole time we've been playing it. And then the next game announcement. So,
Sounds like a plan.
And
so on January 25th, the servers went down for 3 hours because of the new update. Now, this is the January update has graduated from the public test realm and is releasing into the main New World game. This update includes a new in-game feature, Expedition Mutators. So there is an in-game feature. Mutators change the familiar by augmenting normal and named enemies found within expeditions, changing the way encounters play out and what strategies players should consider before battle. And as combat changes, so do the rewards. New bespoke gear and resources can be found, providing additional means to increase your power level. This system rotates through a unique combination of expeditions and mutations each week, with 10 difficulty levels per expedition mutation. Players will be challenged to climb the ladder with the aim of eventually reaching the max difficulty. With this update, we've also added Umbral Shards to the game. Umbral Shards are a mysterious, powerful resource that enable you to take an item with a gear score of 600 all the way up to a gear score of 625. Raising your equipment's gear score in this way is critical if you want to drive into higher difficulty mutated expeditions or gain a competitive edge in PvP. They have also increased the expertise cap to 625. And you can find the full update notes on the releases section on their website, where all the major updates are shared. So, there is an end game. I see now. I remember asking about that.
In true New World fashion, the first week of mutations were allowed in Lazarus Instrumentality, which is one of the in-game dungeons, and it switched over today, I think. And the second week of mutations is also Lazarus Instrumentality.
Oh yeah.
So the first 2 weeks of them releasing this brand new mechanic that can rotate between all the different dungeons, it's been the same one.
That's funny.
So one thing I did notice is that New World doesn't have a lot of dungeons, really.
Oh yeah.
It seems like there's only like 6 or something like that. So
Ooh.
to create a system that runs an algorithm to choose at random out of 6 dungeons, it doesn't have a lot of options. So there's probably going to be a lot of times where it's going to be like 2 or 3 weeks in a row or something where it's the same dungeon that's going to pop up in these mutations.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep, there are 6 total. There's Amarine Excavation, which is the first one that we had talked about a little bit. Starstone Barrows, The Depths, Dynasty Shipyard, Lazarus Instrumentality, and Garden of Genesis.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think if they had more dungeons throughout the game, it would probably be a much better system. It would probably work through them a little more flawlessly.
Yeah.
If it had, say, like, instead of 6, if it had 12 or 15 dungeons to work through.
Alright, so the next news is on January 25th, a fresh lineup of cosmetic items will be added into the in-game store. This update is focused on celebrating the Lunar New Year and the upcoming Year of the Tiger with unique armor, weapon, and tool skins, alongside housing decor items. What better to celebrate the Year of the Tiger than with the Lunar Tiger pet? Other than a few exceptions noted below that are staying a little longer, these items will be available in exchange for Marks of Fortune until February 21st. So they got some armor skins, which is the Jadeite Dragon, the Jadeite Assassin, the Stormbound, Cry of the Tiger, which is a shield skin, which looks badass. Eternal Flame, which is a fire staff skin. Looks pretty awesome. The General's Might, it's a sword skin. Piercing Roar, it's a musket skin. It's a big old rifle with looks like a kind of like a boar head or something like that on it. On the end of it.
I mean, if we're being perfectly honest, that looks like a rat head.
Yeah, I couldn't think it. I was going to say like a wolf pig.
Yeah, it looks like a rat with big teeth.
But I think you're right. It looks more like a rat, so yeah. Then Void's Golden Touch, which is a Void Gauntlet skin. And Cycle of the Moon. Or wait a minute. Tool skin set. Oh, those are tools that may help you find fortune the coming year.
Yeah, when you buy a tool skin, you get a skin for all of the tools. So you'll get a skin for your axe that you use for cutting down trees, your stone pick, your sickle, your skinning knife, your fishing pole, all that stuff.
Now, some of the housing items are the Lunar Tiger house pet. And he's just chilling in front of the fire, just laying down. Lunar New Year Housing Decorum Bundle, which there's quite a few on that one. And then some emotes like the Snow Angel, Autograph, Pray, Push-Ups, a Queen Wave, and then consumable die packs. There's a Crest Pack, a Lunar New Year Crest Pack. And that's it. So, there you go for that. Alright, I think that's it for the news.
Oh, I just saw something else here. Sorry.
Go ahead.
With the expeditions, we had mentioned the expedition tuning orbs.
Yeah.
Apparently, expedition tuning orbs for Amarine Excavation, Starstone Barrows, the Depths, Dynasty Shipyard can be purchased from the faction shop once a day. Expedition tuning orbs for Garden of Genesis and Lazarus Instrumentality can be purchased once a week.
Oh.
Oh, that's
cool.
nice.
That opens up more options to be able to get these orbs.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, now let's talk about the game, our overall play experience and everything else. Now, I'll start off first. Y'all can agree or disagree or agree to disagree or whatever, I don't care. But when first playing it, awesome game. Trying to figure it out. I was really interested in it. Figuring everything out and keep going. It was so easy to farm stuff that you wanted to farm. Leveling is pretty simple and easy once you figure it out. But the replayability, not really there. Now I could see like Keith making a tune for himself, a tune to play with Rick, and a tune to play with all three of us. I understand that, and I probably would have done the same thing if I would have had more time playing. And since finding out there's only 6 dungeons, that kind of tells me the replayability is kind of down, especially if you've done those 6 dungeons several times. Because like in WoW, some of these dungeons in there, you have to farm them a few times to get your rep up for stuff. And that kind of kills not wanting to run those dungeons. With those one only having 6, I think there needs to be more. Now, am I going to keep playing? I'm not sure. I might turn it on every once in a while just to for something different. But playing it every day, I don't see me doing that. Now, would I suggest it to other people to play? If they're burnt out of what they're playing, yes, I would tell them to play it. But with bugs, there still being a bunch of bugs and stuff like that, I would probably tell them not to until the bugs get fixed. That way, they won't run into a problem where they're playing and they can't complete something because of a bug. Then they're gonna probably tell me I'm dumb for suggesting this game. I don't know, but all right, I'll let one of y'all take it over.
I have a lot more time to play the game than Keith or Chris do, but for me, there's just so much. There's a lot to do in this game. One day I could be like, okay, I'm going to go out and pick flowers today. Tomorrow I'm going to go out and chop some trees, kill a whole day fishing, and I, just turn on some tunes and away I go. I wouldn't have a problem with it, and I could do that every day. Will I play it every day? I won't play it every day. I will not play it every day. I have other obligations, obviously. But it is something that I'm keeping around in the library. Probably going to keep it installed to jump into here and there. And repeatedly run these dungeons because I love them. They're good dungeons. They're fun. They're fast. And they don't even feel like dungeons. They just feel like a part of the, like a zone in the game, really. Other than you can't do it yourself. But yeah, so for me, I would definitely tell other people to play this game. And the more people I could get playing it, the more likely I would be to play it a little more often than like 2 or 3 times a week. So that's my thought.
Keith?
I have a lot of mixed emotions about this game. Like you were saying, when you first turn the game on and you get into it, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the graphics in the game are really, really good. The gameplay itself, once you get the controls figured out, is simple and fun. But I feel like for me, this is for me. I probably will not play very much more of it. Just because, like we were talking about, we've been playing this game for a month and we've made it to like level 20 as a group. It feels like it requires this to be your main game you're playing. Whereas for me, it's just not gonna be. I've got World of Warcraft stuff that I have to do every week, and that's my prior commitment. So I just don't have the time to put into it. Now, if you're looking for a new game to play and you don't have another game that you spend hours of your week playing and you can commit some time to this, I think it's worth getting. There are some bugs and things, and like we had talked about getting someone to come and, someone that's a longtime player of the game, join us on the podcast. And I asked somebody that was in one of the companies that I joined, and due to all the bugs and things, he's frustrated with the game and didn't really want to come on. I think that a lot of the longtime players that have been dealing with these bugs since day one are probably getting to that point where they're really frustrated with things. So just be aware going in that there are still some bugs. It's still a relatively new game, so they're still working this stuff out. They are obviously still like adding new skins and things into the game for these events that they're doing. I don't know if that's taking time away from getting bugs fixed or if that's two separate departments, but they do need to focus some attention on getting the bugs fixed before I would say it's a complete game. But it's fun to play. There's a lot to do. I think it requires more of a time commitment than I'm willing to give it. But for someone else that's looking for a new game to play, I would say it's worth sitting down, playing through, and at the very least, trying out for a little while, because I enjoyed it.
All right. So we all kind of agree, but we have for different reasons and stuff like that. So that's good. All right. So next game announcement that we're going to start playing. I'll let Keith announce it since he's the one that kind of picked it out.
Oh, I get to announce something?
Yep.
Yay!
Alright, so I was perusing through the store on Steam and ran across... Where's it even at? I've lost it.
Don't make me say it. I'm letting you announce it.
No, don't say it.
It.
Ah, you did it. Okay, so next month we're going to start playing Draconia. Draconia is an open world MMORPG where rather than hunting down and killing the dragon, you play as a dragon. You get to create, customize, and level up and explore the world as a dragon. So it seemed like a cool concept. I don't know anything about the game. I just ran across it today, and I was like, I want to be a dragon. So that's what we're going to try out.
I brought up a page that tells you about it, but I was going to wait till the first podcast about it. So I think we're done unless anybody's got anything else they want to say.
No, I'm looking forward to this fancy new dragon game flying around.
All right.
Eating sheep or whatever we gotta eat.
Blow up villages with your fire breath. I don't know. Right now the sky's the limit. So, all right. Well, until next time, have fun playing the game. Insert goodbyes here.
Later, everybody.
Deuces!
That's your new tagline, really? That's what you've come up with? You've had a whole month and you've come up with deuces?
Hey, when I was streaming Magic the Gathering Arena, that was always my goodbye. So I'm recycling it.
That's so old. If you would like to reach the show, you can email us at mmonoobspodcast@gmail.com.